Hey everyone, welcome to the Lake Michigan Angler Podcast. I'm Rob and this is Michael, and today we're here with Shane Rubianes of Dreamweaver Tackle.
Welcome, Shane. Nice to meet you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
In the history of Dreamweaver now, right, what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome with the business, whether it was growth or just at any point? Because I know that any business you have, bumps along the road, learning, growing pains, anything that was really a hurdle you were able to overcome and allowed you to push forward and to be where you're at today.
To be honest just the biggest thing is just perseverance. Because 20 years ago, we did okay around here locally, but like I used to go to shows in New York and Canada, and they wouldn't even look. They wouldn't even consider putting our stuff in the stores. And it was a tough road for a lot of years, but probably the biggest thing that pulled us into some of those areas was the spin doctor, and that's what kind of pulled us into those shops. And then it's just a long process to grow all those relationships with the fishermen and the shop owners around the Great Lakes. And basically we would we marketed in a different way than maybe traditional. We would market to the fishermen themselves, and then and force the store owners to put the stuff in there because they'd be going in there asking for it because they wouldn't let us in. They wouldn't let us in. But yeah, a lot of those stores that some of those stores, like a lot of them out in New York and stuff, I had to, it took 5 years to even get a few items on their pegs, and now it's one of our biggest territories or biggest areas. So it takes a long time.
No, I believe it, and especially when you have something new, and look, us as anglers, we like what we like, and we don't veer off of those things that we are accustomed to then try something in the water. You mentioned the spin doctor. There's no question that is such one of probably your marquee products, right? And iconic. It's such a unique design, and what was that like trying to sell people on this different looking kind of a paddle flasher? What were people initially saying to you at that point when you were trying to get them to fish it, put it up on a peg? What was the initial thoughts people had at that time?
I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but we kind of like lucked out with that product, and it was kind of a home run. Like we didn't have to say anything because, at first people were skeptical of it because it just looks odd, but once people just started, I think it changed the game in a lot of ways with where you didn't, traditionally you had to commit to a Dodger program or a spoon program or whatever. And now you have a unit that can fish at all speed ranges and catch all species. And it just kind of like, it made a good fisherman out of, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but you can fish it right alongside a spoon. You can fish it right alongside a Dodger. It works in that whole speed range. So that thing kind of sold itself, to be honest with you. You didn't have to. That's what pulled us in a lot of areas, is just coming up with that.
Yeah, when I first started trolling for salmon, and I had absolutely no idea, I was putting spin doctors on my dipsies and just catching kings and cohos like crazy. And I'd like my first or second time ever trolling, and I was just a hero after that. Like I felt like I was a genius after putting those things in the water, trolling with musky rods and dipsy divers. But they caught a lot of fish. They still do. Was that part of it, Shane, where English you were just getting that testimonials, like kind of like where Rob shared his story? Like, was it just one of those things where it organically picked up and caught steam?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's, Yeah, our biggest advocates have always been our friends and fellow fishermen. Like you get it, you get a good product in the hands of a guy like yourself or guys around the port, and they go out and do good with it, and that's how word spreads. It's you could I could tell you it's great, but until you go out there and it works for you and puts fish in your boat, then that's what sells product is, and that's what we try to do. Is we always make stuff we're not putting out stuff that doesn't work. I mean, we try to build things that are all that. Biggest thing is just make things better and make things that are very speed tolerant, where they work across a wide range of speed, where you don't have to have a product that's, this only works from 2.1 to 2.3, or, try and make products that are really user friendly and work across the whole speed range and work together with all products.
Yeah. I think beyond just the fish catching ability of your products, but Dreamweaver tackle has a reputation of just being well made too. Mm-hmm. You don't hear complaints about split rings and paint coming off after two fish and all that kind of stuff. Like when people buy it, they know it's going to last.
It's going to last,
and it's always been reasonably priced as well.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the benefits of, we're right here in Ludington. We have 15 guys that show up to work here every day, and we're in total control of our production. So, and I'm not going to tell you we don't have problems, because we do, but if we do, we take care of it. And if somebody calls and has something bad happen, we take care of it and we replace it. And, it's just the right thing to do.
It's actually pretty cool. You mentioned it's a team, about 15-person team for is that what it sounds like? That's pretty cool. I mean, I thought it was a little bit larger than that, but I think the cool thing with that is you're small, you're accessible, you're nimble, so you can adapt to things a lot quicker as a business. You're not super bloated, and you get the whole bureaucracy of a business and stuff like that. You can really jump on things. If you hear something's really working for folks, you can make an adjustment. You can come out with if you hear that certain colors are working, guess what? We just dropped a limited time color. You can really do things pretty quickly and stay on top of.
Absolutely.
And I think that's such a cool angle.
And it's an important part of our fishery because it changes from port to port. And there's only a handful of lures that really seem to be consistent fish catchers everywhere, whereas each little area of the lake has a little thing that works for them.
That's a good point. Let's throw that to Shane, because Shane, you have such a unique view, because you're seeing where all of these things are going out across the Great Lakes, right? So what are the handful, one or two, whatever comes to your mind here? What are the one or two Dreamweaver? Let's just stick with the flashers that are probably the most popular across the Great Lakes. Is there a certain color that you guys have that it goes to everywhere? Because like Rob said, certain areas we have more. We might want certain colors over this place and that place, but what are those ones that just all over the Great Lakes? People are buying them and using them.
Well, I don't know if you believe me if I told you, but over the years, the most popular spin doctor of all time is the white double crush glow. And that just that thing just works. I mean, dirty water, clean water. It's just a workhorse, and especially even or the double pro glow with the slick tape, but that thing just works everywhere. And I mean, we're painting up these things that look like Maseratis and everything else, but honestly, that one, Kevin's girlfriend has been just an absolute, workhorse the last several years. That thing works for everybody everywhere. Wow. The chrome frog is probably right up there. But I shouldn't say this as a lure manufacturer, but sometimes simple is very very good.
No, I mean, no, it's so true. Even when folks come here and tell us, I need some flashers, and they'll come up and like, what about this one? And they'll get like the most extravagant looking colored one that has like tapes, double taped everywhere, and and don't get me wrong, like we know that those will work, right?
Yeah.
But we'll be like, but do you have this one? And it will be a double crush. It will be just a plain Jane, right? To the eye, it doesn't look appealing.
Right.
But like me and Rob will go there like, you don't have this, you need this one first. Like you need to have this first.
Yeah, people get a little disappointed with me sometimes. And like, you just pick me out like, a handful of things to get started with, and it's the most boring stuff I have in the store. But it's what catches the most fish.
It catches the fish.
But that's the staple stuff that you can that you can go out and it's gonna work. And there's those items that are just going to work in all conditions that, sure. This guy looks really cool and it really looked cool.
Yeah.
But if I had my choice to run, if I only had one that I had to run for 8 hours, I'd probably pick the double white crush,
You can't beat that in the summertime, man. That double white crush is, you can work it in the low light because it glows. It's got the glow, and then you.
The guys, and you can't, some of those white crush, a lot of the white crush spinnies with like the black dot or the green dot, just with the simple dot pattern, those are unbeatable too. I don't know what it is about dots, but fish just love dots.
Have you noticed? We noticed in the last 2 years, like blacks, like a lot of black on spoons or flashers. We noticed here, at least in our area again, that they were doing very well. It almost seemed like much more of an emphasis on black in our area than we'd ever seen in the past. Yeah. Have you seen anything like that in your side? And I know that our sides can fish totally different, but any observations with colors in the last couple of years?
I wouldn't say. So I think your guys down there have a lot more stained water than what we have up here. Our water is really clear. A lot of days, just too clear. We need to search out and find some stained water, some green water, or try. But it's just. I think you guys have a lot better. Color water down there, but so I haven't seen that black seems to work. I don't know. I haven't seen any huge uptick of black, but a lot of purple lately. The guys over in Ontario like black, but they have the Niagara there, so they have some really green or stained water. But I don't know. Probably like a good all-around spoon the last couple of years, like that a non-glow spoon has been that Rasta Goose. That thing just works all the time. But I don't know. I don't know. You talk to 10 different guys and they're using 10 different things and all doing well on it. So I think a lot of it's just personal preference, and always tell people, you learn the lures that you have confidence in, and those are the ones that seem to work for the guys. It's important.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to this kind of subject, I want to ask you, let's do this. We were talking about colors and all that stuff. What would you say, give folks 5 must-have spin doctors and let's say 5 spoons, that you feel are like essential, that if they had to have any 5 spin doctors and then spoons, which colors would those be, just off the top of your head?
Oh, I'd probably pick
I'm assuming the double crush, since we talked about that one already.
Yeah. The double white crush, the Kevin's Girlfriend, the chrome frog. Mm-hmm. I'd probably pick like just like a chrome and Mountain Dew of some variety. Okay. A blue bubble, simple blue bubble.
Did really well for me last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a chrome with the WV tape on it of some sort.
And then for spoons? Someone to choose from.
The Rasta Goose.
Okay.
Double Orange Crush.
Okay.
Just maybe like a green eye ghost, basically just a plain Jane glow spoon with a green eye on it. Okay. Got a glow spoon with a black ladderback on it that works really, that works. See, I'm the last guy to get new stuff out of here because I'm just trying to get out of here to go fishing.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff in my boat's like 10 years old, but
hey, listen,
it's just like all my fishing line is old.
It's just like when we're on the boat with him, like we have access to all the latest gear here, and we're running like the old Pro Troll or the old whatever it may be and stuff like that. Or like the spin doctor's like crusty and broken. I'm like, Rob, why don't we just swap and get a new one? This one works fine. I'm like,
you don't stop using it until it stops catching fish.
Yeah. He's pretty big. Yeah, he yelled at me one time on the boat when I went to go switch them down. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm switching. He's like, no, keep fishing until it doesn't work. I was like, all right. Jesus Christ.
So, it's just like, I run about 3 flies and a handful of spin doctors. When it's plug season, it's hard to beat just a natural glow or Lucky Charms. I'm pretty simple, and I'm pretty low maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
it's not very good for selling tackle.
No,
the irony.
Well, there's some good stuff out there that people figure out, and it does work. They'll say, like a Kevorkian spin doctor once in a while when the watercolor's right and the sun's just right, or you got those. There's a 12 or 18 different flashes that you try in different conditions, or if something or things are dead, once you can figure out something that's working good. But for the most part, I use a lot of just staple stuff.
Yeah. So when it comes to creating new stuff, right? Obviously you have your core lineup of stuff, things that are, staples that folks are always going to want. But I think for any business that makes stuff, you're going to want to introduce new stuff to, just kind of keep things fresh. How do you come up with these things? Is it you? Is your group of people on your team?
There's no one way that we do it. To be honest with you, most of the time it's captains from all over that call me, and they're like, hey, can you paint me up this or that, or I want to try this. And then they come back and say, oh man, that worked great. I mean, there's literally every spoon or every pattern has its own story. It really does. Every pattern has its own story. And if I had time, I'd like to tell those stories someday. But I mean, it's just like the Magic Man. I mean, we were fishing a tournament, and one of my good friends went down in the cabin, and we needed one fish, and we had some blanks and some tapes down there, and made this crazy looking spoon and brought it up, and it caught that one fish we needed, and that's the Magic Man. It's just every spoon has a story. And of course, there's the ones that we all make across all brands that people always ask for. But, but yeah, the original Dolphins we made. Roger actually was one of the first guys that started painting with automotive paint, and went down and gave them to the boat down, all the boats down on the dock, and they just worked like crazy. So every spoon has a different story. It's really unique. Really, there's no one way to do it that it happens.
So a lot of feedback and requests is kind of spurs from that then.
Yeah, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, even things like Rob's done it lots of times. He's like, hey, can you paint me a 6-inch spin doctor with this on? I want to try this. And he'll and it works, and then it becomes something that's in the lineup. But
yeah, that actually reminds me. I'm going to have to make a request when we're done with this.
Is it for the orange one again?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I don't know if you remember last year, Rob had the orange with the chartreuse dots done spin doctors, and when he got it in, I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like, but I'm like, this ain't a new color. He's like, no, I had it custom done. I was like, really? I've never seen like an orange, spin doctor. I'm used to like orange Dodgers for Coho, but he's like, no, like these are actually really good back in the day, and they'll catch kings and So, of course, I grabbed a set to run out there and test out so we can make content and, be able to like sell people on it. Cause like, we use it, we know it works, stuff like that. So holy crap. Yeah, that thing smoked Coho all, spring. Mm-hmm. I was running it in the spring and, with a 4-inch fly, and that was very good. Very good one.
But that's exactly how it happens. It's those stories like that. And that's how it happens. There's no one way it happens. We don't sit down and just dream up some stuff one day for the next season. It's just a conglomeration of things that happen over actually, one of the flashes that we made this year was new, the Magic Mike one. A friend of mine up in Manistee, I made those for him like 2 years ago, and I never got around to doing anything else with it. And he kept begging me because it was such a good unit for him. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, finally we put it in the lineup this year. But it's just little stories like that there's no one way it happens.
Yeah. At some point, one day you have to sit down and document those for the history aspect, because I think this is such a cool aspect of getting the backstories, which is why we wanted to have, lure makers like yourself come on here. We had Kelly Morrison from Gold Star in our current episode that's out now. At the time that we're recording this, and you talk about a guy that's been doing it for what, Rob? How many years? Decades now?
Oh,
40
he's been
plus?
doing it for 40 plus years. Yeah.
And he's telling us the big origins of like Dodgers and plugs, and we're like, wow, there's such a cool, being able to document this so our anglers have an opportunity to like learn the backstories. How did this lure, this product that catches up so many fish, how did it come to be? I think it's such a cool aspect that up to this point, we never really had that in the fishing salmon like creator space. It's always, fishing and stuff. But what about how things came about?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like the Kevin's girlfriend, my friend George is. It was one that a charter captain made. Actually, I think it was Willis Carriage made it from Grand Haven, and George saw him making it in our shop. He came in and made it, and then George made one, and then it started working so good. His first mate, Kevin, was had him on like every rod, like because it was working so good. And all the other mates accused him of sleeping with it at night. So they called it Kevin's girlfriend.
That's great.
It's just like I said, everyone has a different story. So
yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I was just thinking, and I know we briefly touched to open up the conversation about the Bay Rat stuff and the body baits. And I don't know, has Dreamweaver ever done plugs at all? Because I know you guys on that side of the lake are super big on the plugs. Has that been a thing? Is it? Because I don't think.
We have a Captain's Choice plug that we've been selling for, I don't know, probably 10 years, 10, 12 years. And we have a 4-inch plug that's coming out here very soon that I've been working on.
Oh, that's awesome. The 4 inches the last 2 years, the 4 inches have been better than the 5s for us over here. And I think it's because our kings have been like in that teener range and stuff. And the Coho have been going after them, the bigger Coho, like those 7 to 10 pound range have been going after them.
Yeah, 4-inch plug is going to go over pretty well here.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome to hear. Is that looking to get that out right around summertime where most folks are going to start fishing plugs, or?
We should be going pretty quick here. It should be done. I don't know. I have to check in on that project, but you kicked it off quite a while ago. We should be receiving a bunch of those bodies here soon.
That's awesome to hear. I definitely, I know on our side, plugs are starting to pick up with with folks, starting to understand it, learn a bit more, get more confident in it,
They were pretty dead, like around here for quite a few years.
Yeah.
It's not, in my opinion, we've been selling them for a lot. I mean, we had a different plug before the one we sell now, but we've been selling plugs for probably almost 20 years, and it's not a stable product. Like, you have plug years. Like, you'll have a year where you just can't get enough plugs because the plugs are working so good, and then we'll have years where plugs aren't working that great, and we won't sell that many of them. So it's not like spoons or flashes where it's fairly stable.
Yeah,
it's like you have these years where they're plug years, and you can't get enough of them, and there's other years where they work, but they're not like, it's not gangbusters.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand that from the lure maker side of it all. You're allocating resources and time to something that may fly off out of your inventory pretty quickly, or it may sit there for a long period of time. I know for us, Rob could tell you, we're getting more orders for plugs. Like here, but across the lake, especially the guys across the lake looking for it, they can't find it over there.
When we first opened the store, we had an entire aisle of plugs, and no one would buy them. I mean, we must have had 500 different plugs, and you couldn't give them away for buy one get one free. And then all of a sudden, I think when I finally got rid of the last plug, then everybody wanted them again.
You know what I think? I think to your point, Shane, and to what Rob was saying, I think that there's a sweet spot for him in terms of more of a concentrated like selection, and not like going so wide with so many, but it's more of like Wonder Bread, like Mother of Pearl. Like, we know that there's certain ones, and then just lean into the ones that are always going to just go off the shelf. Yeah. Because like I think you said, like going with so many colors, and I think people don't. Now you're sitting on inventory and stuff, But
well, I don't care about. I mean, we don't care about carrying inventory. We got it all the time. But I just mean they're just not like. It's just you're always selling plugs, but it's just some years are better than others.
Yeah, no, for sure. What? Let me ask you this. This isn't necessarily a product question, but just more in general with salmon fishing. Here we are in 2025. Season's just about underway. It's already started on our side over here, or at least in the southern end of Wisconsin. In Indiana water, stuff like that. Where do you see the future of salmon fishing, specifically like in terms of lures or tactics or technology?
I think we're going to have some good years ahead of us. I think we had some rough years, but the last 2 years it's been getting better and better. And I think with them raising plants and stuff, I think we're gonna have some good years here. I just noticed the water getting cleaner, and fish getting harder to catch. Like up here, a lot of times you have this short window of time in the morning, in the evening to catch them, and I think that has to do with the water clarity, and I think they just can see so much better when the sun comes up that they're harder to trick. So I think we're going to see maybe even running less lines, running maybe smaller tackle presentations, fishing deeper. I don't think that. I think why you can catch them deep later in the day is because they're easier to trick down there. They can't see as well. But I don't think they quit eating during the day, because you can see them on the beach just attacking alewives, but they get harder once the sun comes up, they get harder to catch around here. I mean, you have just gangbuster fishing for the first hour and a half, and as soon as that sun comes over the hill, it really dies off. So I just think you're going to see more and more stealthy presentations. Less is more. Maybe one diver on each side, maybe one rigger in the middle of the day, fishing deep, just those kind of things. But I think we're going to have good numbers of fish and good weight of fish for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Should be another good year, right?
Yeah, I don't see any reason for it not to be. I mean, stocking's up, and we've had good conditions to make more fish and to keep the fishery, thriving as far as bait fish goes. Last spring, at least over here, we had an incredible amount of rain, and all that water came out of the rivers, and that fertilizes the lake, and helps make more alewives and all that whole thing. So. We should have food for a while, and as long as we keep stocking fish, we're going to have fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're going to have some good years. And how's your water down there? It's really low here right now.
Yeah, it's low. It's real low.
It's pretty low.
Yeah, it's a couple feet low. Even because last year was low, and then now it's low again for a second year. So I was out of Burnham this week, and I was just looking like, oh man, there's a lot of. You can see the stains like gradually. Like there's like a deep stain up here and like a lighter one here. You can tell like it's been shooting down. I'm like, man, we can use a little bit of water, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like last year, that amount of rain we had in the spring, it just seemed like from about now until maybe in the middle of May, it just never stopped raining.
Yeah.
And the rivers, I mean, we barely have rivers here. There's the Root and the Pike, and they're pretty small, but they were just at like flood stage the whole time. And it's incredible how much water was pushed into the lake, and yet it's still lower than last year.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how much it actually evaporates.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of year-long rain. I don't think.
No,
that's so. I think all that plays into it and stuff. I think guys are having to fish deeper than before, probably too, because of it.
But boy, I've been hearing just the last week. I've been getting pictures and texts, and everybody's heading down your way. I've been hearing about those big perch, and they say go get their perch, and then they go load up on the coho, and it sounds like it's just a fisherman's paradise down there right now.
Yeah, well, this is. I'll be honest here. I don't want to upset our Indiana friends, but this is their time because Lord knows, come what May, it's over. It's now they're off 8 miles off into the abyss just to go catch some fish. So they have a nice little time frame where they can hit those cohos real quick at their limit and then go over to the mud flats and go pop some perch, jump jumbos, and I've been seeing the pictures too.
Hopefully I didn't leak a secret there or anything. But.
No, I think that secret was leaked a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was leaked on Facebook a long time ago. This isn't any new information. I mean, the guys that know where they're at, they know where they're at. I mean, Yeah,
I just like even this morning I had a couple guys send me pictures of a nice pile of perch, and then one guy I gave a short shallow to, and he said he sent me a picture this morning. That the first rod in, I didn't even set it in the rod holder, and he showed me his coho. So,
yeah, if you have a couple of those little bay rats laying around here, feel free to send them over. We'll get them out there and give them a shot too, so we can get some content. Let people know.
I'll send you some down.
Yeah, that'd be great. We get them out there and get people familiar with it again. So going forward, anything new that people can expect from Dreamweaver?
Right now I got my hands full with the Bay Rat project, but okay. We also just bought Warrior lures, so we're building up the inventory of those. And he's got some really nice walleye stuff, some walleye blades and stuff so I'm kind of excited about that. We are also, I told you we got a plug coming.
Yeah.
A small 4-inch plug. And we're also working on a new diver right now also. So
diver as in like
a dipsy, like a deeper diver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a new version of like a deeper diver or dipsy diver, but much improved, and I can't tell you too much, but I think it's going to be really good. So
that's pretty exciting because there really hasn't been much new there as far as designs go or anything in quite a long time.
No, it's pretty. We've been working on it all winter, and we're on about revision 15 right now, but we're just about ready to cut the tooling for it, and that'll be made right here. So
that's awesome.
It's kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. I'm excited. That will that be something that hits the market this year or next year?
I think we'll see. I think we'll start to see some. It's gonna. Let's see. It's the 18th of March right now. So by the time they get the tooling and stuff down, we're probably looking at probably 6 weeks before we get some tools and shoot some parts. I think we'll have some parts and some stuff flying around by June, but I don't think we'll be in like mass manufacturing or
Right.
I bet you we'll be playing with them and selling a few this summer, but we won't be
It won't be like a full rollout. It'll be more of like
Yeah.
a soft rollout. Maybe get it some Q&A
Yeah.
testers to test out.
I'm already kind of guessing what it's going to be like in my head.
I was thinking it too. I don't want to speculate on the podcast, but
it's quite a bit different than anything. I mean, it does the same type of job, but it's definitely new in concept, and it'll be we'll see what everybody else thinks, but I think it's going to be a lot better.
yeah.
when he says
I
new
mean-
in concept, I'm thinking of a totally. In my mind, I don't even think it's a disc anymore. I'm thinking it's something totally different. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited. I really am.
I don't even want to say what my guess about it is because in case it's right, then it would be too obvious. So.
Yeah. Don't ruin it for everybody, Rob. Just sit there. So with the acquisition of Warrior, and yeah, we've carried them for quite some time. It's got some great spoons. I got a couple favorites from them. How do you then manage? Obviously you have your Super Slims and all of your spoon lines rather. Is there some overlap? Do you end up just keeping certain colors? Like, how do you decide on what you're going to do here so you don't have like cannibalize, or is that not even a concern?
I haven't really. I mean, there's some overlap for sure. I believe ours are like he was selling some snubbers that I feel ours is quite a bit superior to his. So those are just gone. But like his spoons and stuff, like he's got those flutter spoons and stuff. He's got a really nice, really nice spoon. And he's got a following for his other spoons as well. So we're gonna keep it. We'll keep it, pretty much the same as how it was for the time being, and see how it goes. But there is some overlap. But he's got some unique colors that we don't have.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And quite frankly, he's got some. He's probably more pop. He's got popularity in areas where maybe we're not so strong. So, we just want to continue to supply those people with the products that they're used to getting, and hopefully move some of our other products into those areas as well. So we'll see where it goes, but.
Are you planning to keep the Warrior brand? Is it still going to be kept intact, the Warrior brand itself?
Yeah, for now they'll be packaged just like they always have been, and there might be some rebranding in the future, but for now it'll just be kind of a Warrior series under our umbrella.
Yeah, and then does that also like with the Bay Red acquisition and then with the Warrior stuff, does that also expose you now to like more of the walleye segment?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was a very smart move, I think. Yeah, makes sense.
That's. I mean, he was Warrior. He was doing a lot of custom body bait painting and had a pretty good. And he's got all the blades for walleye, and he's got a lot of walleye gear. Mm-hmm. So he was custom painting a lot of other brands' baits. But between the Bay Rat walleye stuff and the Mike's walleye stuff, we'll kind of, combine those two. And we're traditionally kind of more of a salmon company. So I think we'll move into some of that walleye space. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It kind of sounds like you never want to go fishing again. Just keep
Now you're going to be splitting time between Erie walleye fishing to push your products and then your normal salmon stuff. Now, Shane, we're going to wrap up here in a second. I'm going to ask you a question here, and I think you're in a unique position to answer this question here. And it was a so I'm going to just throw it your way here. Last year, obviously, there was a controversy with moonshine. with the acquisition from Acme and, that whole thing with the colors and quality and all that stuff. Obviously, the whole made in China aspect of it. Specifically, what I would want to ask you as a owner of a lure company, how would what was your assessment of how they handled it, and how would you have handled something like that if you're running that operation, all of that? Like, how would you have handled that situation?
Well, without saying too much, I kind of had the opportunity to be in that situation and turned it down. I'm not going to lie to you. We get things from China and components and pieces, and we have a couple products that we build over there that we can't be competitive here making. But I like to keep control of my. I like to keep control of the manufacturing, and one thing that you don't want to do if you do outsource is compromise quality. So, and when you do projects like that, from experience, the few things that I have done overseas, it takes a long time to teach them how to make your product right if you decide to go that route. So,
and we're talking about the assembly part, correct? Like putting it all together, or
well, I mean, it's across the board from raw materials to paint to components. Like,
gotcha.
It's not something you can't just send something over there and say, hey, I want it made this way and done in 4 weeks. It doesn't, because they don't see things the same way that we see things.
Right.
So it doesn't work. But I mean, yeah, we outsource some things and make some things in different places, and sometimes you just have to be competitive in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. But we do make everything here that we possibly can, and I like to keep it even if we do make things over there, I like to have dual capability to fill the holes in here, because I don't want to tell somebody, hey, we're going to have that in 12 weeks when the next container gets here. So, but that's kind of, we're not run by corporate investors either. So we can, I don't have a team of bean counters telling us what to do.
Right. Yeah, it kind of goes back, like I said earlier, being a small team and you're able to just move differently and really address pain points for customers that, or fill in gaps in the market for things. You can really strike pretty quickly here.
But I mean, to be candid, it really is probably the biggest, I shouldn't complain, because I think we have a fair share of market, and we're never going to have all the market or whatever, but that's what's really frustrating to me is all these other companies. I think we're the only one that actually makes a flasher in the United States, or makes our spoons in the United States from scratch. Like, you see all these companies that have all these Chinese, all their flashers are just Chinese blanks that they're painting, and then they're telling everybody they're American companies or are made in America, and it's simply just not true. Nobody's, I'm not going to name names, but they're all, I think we're the only flasher that's actually injected molded right here in Michigan. Everything else is Chinese.
Yeah.
Hey, one other thing I want to ask.
Maybe not Silver Horde, or probably not Silver Horde, but all these other guys are.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about the Ninja boards. I mean, we saw a ton of Ninja boards. How did you guys come up with that?
There was a team of 4 or 5 of us that engineered that, and right in Grand Haven. We work hand in hand with Grand Haven Custom Molding. That's our molding house, and that's where everything plastic gets molded that we sell. And they have a great team of designers and stuff, and basically the guys there are avid fishermen as well. And we just come up with a concept, and this is what we want to do, and we hand it off to the designers and help them draw that up in CAD, and then we 3D print. That's the same way we're doing with the diver right now. Same same concept, but we start with a concept of what we want to do, and we just slowly engineer, not slowly as fast as we can, but usually things go through many revisions before you get it right. But they're just 60 miles down the road. I got to go there tomorrow. But that's where everything that's plastic gets done, and that's how we just prototype stuff. And there was a group of 5 of us that worked on that in a whole fall, and that's been a really good product for us.
Yeah, it's been great. We always recommend it for guys that are new to boards, because that one-hand operation makes it very simple to just operate it, get it on the line, get it off the line. They pull great.
Yeah, they don't dive. Yeah. They just come in and out really easy.
Yeah, you guys knocked out of the park with that one for sure.
Yeah, we were really, it was really good team of people, and I feel really fortunate. It worked out really well.
Yeah. And then it really speaks to like what he was saying about being able to source everything here and do it here. You can do stuff like that, and get on these things a lot quicker versus, I got friends that work in multinational companies, and you got to wait for the time zone to get a hold of people overseas. And like it prolongs that process. And then not to mention language barriers on top of that. But last thing I'll ask here, kind of just with that whole thing that happened last year, did you notice an uptick for Dreamweaver as a result? Did you guys, benefit from that lapse to some degree?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure everybody got a little more last year, and it's unfortunate. I wouldn't have handled it the way they handled it, but I'm not going to throw stones or whatever. They probably still have a nice product. Maybe they can recover, but yeah, I think now people just I haven't looked closely at their stuff, but I think now more people are just getting a kick out of poking the bear.
Yeah. I mean, they've turned off comments on their Facebook posts and stuff like that. They're really trying to.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to go away on its own.
No. Sometimes when you're in those situations, you just got to face it head on. Just because when you try and sweep it under the rug, people keep on wanting to stir it up. I think that's kind of to your point. They're going to keep on poking, like you said, until someone acknowledges something. But Shane, man, listen, great to have you here. Rob has always said that you like to kind of play in the background and not be forward facing so much. So I do appreciate you making some time for us to talk about, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about, Dreamweaver, and, I'm sure I can speak for all of the anglers here that, thank you guys for the work you guys do in creating stuff that allows us to go out there, enjoy our salmon fishery, be successful, and give us those tools to do that, really.
Yep.
Well, it works both ways. We try to support anything we try to give back and support, and without the fishermen and the customers, we wouldn't have anything to sell. So it works both ways.
Yep. And we got some exciting, you were able to share some new things that are coming out this year. So folks that are watching the podcast right now, be on the lookout for that. I'm pretty sure we'll end up carrying that stuff here at the shop as well. So again, Shane, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate your time. And for anyone who needs more information, just go to dreamweaver.com, correct?
It'd be dreamweaverlures.com.
Dreamweaverlures.com. Yep.
I think there's a software company that's a little bigger than us that has that other domain.
Oh, they sons of guns. Dreamweaverlures.com. You guys can check out so much more of their products over there as well, and probably see a sneak peek of what they got coming when they post it there too.
Yep.
So, any final thoughts, Shane?
No, I appreciate you asking me to come on the show, and I hear a lot of good things about you guys, and keep doing good work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.